Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about 3 budget options. One I've already talked about, but these other two I haven't. But these are about $70 to $60 and on sale. They're all about like 50 or less. So that's a pretty good deal for any of these. Now I'll talk about which one I would pick out of these three. I think there's one of them that's really, really good for sound quality and another one that's really not worth it. And then one that's just gonna be, across the board the best in terms of features. So we'll talk about them. So like I said, these are all about the same price at a discount. They're about $50. I think this one's actually even cheaper. So, we'll go through the differences. And the funny thing about all these is they're all kind of clones or take inspiration, I guess you can say, from popular shapes that have existed on the market. So these are definitely going to fit pretty good in your ears because they're, copying big companies kind of shapes. So, let's get into a deeper dive about these and which one you should pick. All right, so let's talk about all these three. So, Soundpeats already sent me out this one to review, so I have a full review of the Capsule 3 if you guys are interested in that one. But the two ones I'll focus on today is the Engine 4 and the Air 3 Deluxe. So this is the Air Deluxe HS. This one is most reminiscent of the Apple AirPods, the new, I guess, Edition 3. Basically, they don't have any tips right here. So without any tips, they don't seal as well. So what ends up happening with this type of shape is that I noticed that your bass, at least your sub bass, isn't as good and your treble isn't as good. So for this Air one, I would say in terms of sound quality, it's not the best one on the table. It's probably the worst one. But in terms of features, it actually is interesting. This one actually has auto detection. So when you actually put it on your ear and take it off, it can actually detect that. So this is the only one on the table that has that. So this is actually a benefit for that. But besides that, this one has the shortest battery life as well. This one has 5-hour battery life. And with the case, it's 20 hours. So the total battery life is already lower than the other two as well. So this one really is the most lackluster. And the worst thing about it is I think it comes in at a price of $60 when the Engine 4 right here as well comes in at a price of $60. And at the same price, this one has a battery life that is 12 and a half hours for these. And then for the whole entire case, it's 43 hours. So it has double the battery life in the case. It has a better sound because it seals better. And they're literally the same price if it was on sale. So really, I feel like this device, the Air Deluxe 3, really the only way it exists, or the only purpose of it existing, in my opinion, is that, some people, I've talked to my brother about this too, actually, but some people don't like having tips in their ear, and it gives them that kind of stuck in feeling. And because that, doesn't give you that feeling, you can comfortably put it in your ear. And if you're looking for that, I think that's fine. I think this one does sound okay for the price, but in general, I just feel like even the case feels kind of cheap compared to the Engine 4. And so, in my opinion, of all these on the table, this one definitely, is the cheapest. And I think that's probably why it's on sale for like 25% off. So, at its like new price of like around $40, I think it's much more worth it at that price than at its original price of 60. So then that goes to, the second one, the Engine 4. The Engine 4 does not have the one, cool thing that this thing has is auto detection. So if you take it off your ear, it'll automatically stop playing your music. This one doesn't do that. However, this one sounds significantly better. In my opinion, the battery life, like I said, is significantly better as well. And then, of course, the case also has a better kind of feeling to it, movement, and it all around feels like a better quality product overall. I even like how shiny it kind of is. In comparison, this one is just some like matte black, but this one is like a heftier and more solid feeling, in my opinion. But when it comes to like the sound, that's where I think these really are stellar. I think these are actually sound better than everything on the table. And I think the reason why is they actually market that it has 2 drivers. So this is one of the only ones that have 2 drivers on the table. But essentially it has big bass drivers. Like I think they're 12 meter drivers, and they have like a 6 millimeter driver that plays the rest of the frequencies. So it really has the benefit of having additional drivers, as well as I think it just maybe the kind of space that it has. So like this kind of shape right here is actually the same thing as I think the Samsung Galaxies, the first few ones. I think I reviewed the original one and the shape looks exactly the same as that. But yeah, when it comes to the sound, like the bass on this thing is really, really good. You can hit it, like hits hard, it's juicy, but it sounds big, you know. It has that big kind of bass feeling, at least for, you know, earbuds that are in your ears, and it plays, you know, the low notes really well. Now, when it comes to even the mid range on these, so for vocals, like the overall tuning of this is very balanced, maybe slightly on the bassier side, I would say. There's definitely a little bit of extra like emphasis in the bass. But overall, I think this is a very fun sound that a lot of people will like. Like the vocalist sounded really good on this. The treble never gets annoying on this one at all. Like the treble is really well detailed, but it's not like over exaggerated. Like when I use these, they sound a little sharp sometimes to me in the treble. Obviously, in the end, like I don't think it matters too much because like you have an app, so you can use the EQ app and kind of change the sound. But the default sound of these sound just amazing in my opinion, because like these are kind of wireless earbuds, so they all these on the table have the LDAC, which is kind of high resolution kind of transfer of data as well. So for listening to music, you have that option if you have like an Android phone. If you have an iPhone, then I guess it doesn't really make a difference because they don't support LDAC. So the last one I want to talk about is the Capsule 3 Pro. So these are obviously AirPods Pro clones. And you know, the thing about these that I like a lot is the fact that it has noise canceling, and testing the noise canceling is actually surprisingly really, really good. Like I was basically playing sounds of like cars and emulating that and seeing how well they cancel noise. And I was actually comparing it to the AirPods, and it actually wasn't that far behind, honestly. So the noise canceling on this works really well. I've tried a lot of cheap budget options that honestly didn't do well at noise canceling. I feel like this one is one of the better ones I've had, and it even the kind of transparency mode was actually really good too. So this has transparency mode as well, which is another feature, and you get all of that for like $70. So like it's literally only $10 more than this, but you get like transparency mode and noise canceling. And I feel like for those features, if someone's looking for those features at $70, I think it's well worth it. The last thing I want to talk about is simply the shape and how they feel in your ears. So like I would say something like the AirPods Pro is what, you know, I'm used to wearing those type of, you know, every single day. So the Capsule 3 Pro to me kind of fits the best. And then second, I would say these actually fit pretty well as well in my ears because of its long shape. I feel like this one is a little bit bigger, but like it's not bad. It's just that, you know, you got to rotate it a little bit versus these. I feel like you just kind of know which direction they're supposed to go because the stem is supposed to point down versus these. Sometimes you're like, oh, how far am I supposed to like spin it in my ear? You know, that makes any sense? So in terms of just like putting it in the ear, I feel like these long stem boys are like a little easier to figure out. All right, so let's talk about the features. So they all have USB-C to charge them, so they're really easy to charge, all using the universal standard. When it comes to kind of the controls, we have the controls over here, but essentially you can tap the left side to decrease volume, right side to increase volume, double tap to stop, start. You can pick up calls as well. They actually have a game mode that I haven't talked about, but all of them, if you triple tap them on the left, they activate game mode, and essentially that activates its low latency mode. So, you know, when you're playing games or when you're watching kind of shows, sometimes someone's mouth is moving and you're hearing it later than you're seeing their mouth move. The game mode kind of gets rid of that by activating this low latency mode. So if you're interested in that, all three of these have that feature, which is kind of cool to see. Lastly, I want to talk about the app. So the app is pretty simple. You have it connected, you can update the firmware, and then going over here, you can change your different presets. They have adaptive EQ, which I don't use. You can make your own custom EQ in here. So you can change the bands. You can also just pick from a bunch of presets they have, which are pretty clear on what they do. And then you have the game mode that you can activate, the in-ear detection, and you can disable the touch with one-click functionality. So it has all of these kind of in here if you want, and download their app. So in conclusion, I definitely recommend the Capsule 3 Pro. I think if you want the most features, I think this is the best one. And then if you want the best sound quality, and I think this is also the one I like the most, is actually the Engine 4. This one, in just in terms of like sound quality, impressed me the most. Like, it is definitely a lot better than these two. Like, in terms of earbuds and sounding good, this is probably one of the best wireless ones I've heard at this price point. So if you're looking for a really good sound quality, I definitely recommend the Engine 4. I think it's really worth it for like the type of sound that you get from it is actually bonkers. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.